Our song story this week is Bear One Another's Burdens. Now, this is a new song, and we've been doing throughout this video series older songs celebrating the 15 years of mercy and some of our story in song. But our story goes on. And so there's new songs and new ideas and new things happening. And so we want to share a little bit of that with you as well. And this is a song that during the summer kind of just happened. And it was a lot of fun to write. Part of it is pulling out my old electric guitar and beginning to use that in our worship services again, something I hadn't done in a while. And when you're playing a good old Fender Telecaster, I think about rock and roll. You just want to play rock and roll. And this is a song that to me feels a little bit like kind of old school rock. It's got that propulsive beat that shuffles along, and the song is joyful. And even though it takes on serious themes, to take on a serious theme, you don't always have to be serious and quiet and meditative. We do plenty of music that way too, because you got to have a good mix. But the joy of justice is something that we can rejoice about. The joy of just naming a truth and saying that's what it is. And can we get right? There's beauty in that. And so I think this song captures some of that joyful spirit in our community. It's plain talking, but it also presses us to think a little deeper and a little further. The theme comes from Galatians chapter 6, which has been a long time theme in our community. When we first began talking about recovery, and recovery is a word that is often used in terms of addiction, and we talk a lot about addictions in our community. But I believe we live in an addicted society. And it isn't just substance abuse. We're addicted to so many things. We're addicted to consumerism. We're addicted to violent patterns in our relationships. We're addicted to technology and our phones, our screens. There's so many ways in which addiction numbs us as we try to cope with pain, as we try to cope with difficulty. And when we develop unhealthy patterns, those need to be broken. Well, when we began talking about that in our community, Galatians 6 is where we put down our roots. And we talked about the need to look out for each other, the need to recognize that my addiction, whatever it is that I'm struggling with, whatever the unhealthy patterns are in my life that somehow numb me to my own pain and yours too, that if I don't take those seriously, it affects my whole community. When Paul is speaking in Galatians 6, bearing one another's burdens is his way of describing what it means to love one another. Bear one another's burdens. You see somebody struggling. I love that. Not that I love people struggling, but I love that image. You see someone struggling. You know they're struggling. Help them. That's what love is. We talk in the church so often about love in such abstract ways. And yes, love is profound. And love is worthy of our deepest meditation and reflection. But love is also practical, tangible, hands-on. If you're carrying something heavy, you're struggling to do it, can I help you? And the thing I like about Paul's way of talking about love, the biblical way of talking about love, is it isn't just one way. It's not codependence. It's not paternalism or patronizing. It's not, I help you and I'm the good person. It's the reality that we all need help sometimes. And so we help each other. And so this song talks about it in very practical terms. I'm walking down the road. I'm carrying a load. It's a heavy burden. Can you help me? I'm feeling helter-skelter. I don't have shelter. Can you help me? I'm out in the street. I have nothing to eat. Can you help me? And then it encourages us to envision a different world. What would it be like if we had an economy that was based on that simple idea that we help each other and we don't leave anyone out? We make sure that everybody's got enough. That's God's vision. We've been talking on this channel in recent weeks about God's alternative politics. Well, that's just my language for the kingdom of God, the preaching and the practice of Jesus, the way that he modeled God's love in this world. And y'all, that's our model. We're called to take up that mantle. We're called to take up that cross and follow in the ways of Jesus to create communities, however small, however struggling, however imperfect, however messy, where we help one another. That's the call of God. That's the vocation of being a Christian. That's what this song is about. Y'all, let's bear one another's burdens. Well, we hope you enjoy this new song.